welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend. Your pre-orders are due Sunday by 9 p.m. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now where you can start placing your pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on any of these awesome comics we are about to talk about.
And there are some awesome ones.
Yes.
Like, this is an exciting FOC.
It's very exciting. We're really getting into like the summer meat of comics. So let's get into it. Starting off with our Prime Comic pre-orders.
We are starting with this Summer of Superman special. Now, this is a one-shot. This is coming out on April 16th to kind of get us ready for all of the big stuff that is going to be happening with Superman, including, but not limited to, the new Superman movie. Now, this is one single story, but it's split up into 3 different chapters. The first chapter was written by Mark Waid. The second chapter is written by Dan Slott, and the third chapter is written by Joshua Williamson. And this is going to set the stage for all of the major events coming throughout the Superman titles. And we actually got to read a preview of the first chapter, which was about 12 pages long. And it's a story about Superboy. But not like Connor Kent, like Clark Kent when he was Superboy, when he was 16 years old on the farm in Smallville with Lana Lang. And he has a little adventure as Superboy. He fights the villain Validus. And I'm not going to tell you what happens, but something strange does happen during their fight that I really want to see how that, impacts the next 2 chapters in this book. And then beyond that, the artwork in the whole book is by Jorge Jimenez, and it is gorgeous. Also, this book does, it's the wedding day of John Henry Irons and Lana Lang, and which should be a great day, right? But there's trouble brewing on the horizon, and threats from the past, the present, and the future kick off new conflicts for the Superman family. And yeah, like the first chapter of this, like I said, it was about 12 pages, and it was just that one story of Clark as Superboy back in the day. It was so much fun, and there's like a little bit of mystery there too. So very colorful, action-packed, bright, great artwork. Like, this is going to be a really fun book, and it's really going to help get us primed for all kinds of cool Superman stuff this summer.
Yeah, we're getting ready too, because Dan Slott writing one in here that we'll be getting the new Dan Slott Superman book.
Yeah, Superman Unlimited.
Yeah, that's going to be running alongside the regular Superman and Action. So that's really cool. Valid, is he the brain guy, the purple and gray with the exposed brain?
Yeah, he said, because I couldn't remember, and he says, like, he has the brain of a baby, but the body of, like, the Hulk, basically.
Yeah, I think he's a Legion villain.
That's right, because he said that he has fought Validus before, but it was in the future with the Legion. Yeah. So that's exactly what it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, really cool story. I cannot wait to see the next 2 parts, or the next 2 chapters of this one single one-shot. So we have our A cover here by Jorge Jimenez. I mean, and the inside of the book looks like that. It's great. There is a Alexander Lozano variant. There's a John Zhang variant with Lobo. I wonder if he'll pop up anywhere. There's a Mahmoud Asrar variant.
You were asking where are the
other kids? Yeah, where are the kids? There they are. There's a Chrissy Zulo variant. Hey, Crypto. And Crypto is in that first chapter a little bit.
Cool.
And there's a Jorge Jimenez foil variant. That's the one I'm getting.
Yeah, that's probably the one I'll get. I'm very excited about this because, of course, I love Superman right now. And this is definitely, calling it the Summer of Superman is very apropos.
Yeah.
Well, next up, a book I am, of course, very excited for. This is Star Wars #1. This is our next ongoing Star Wars book. I guess it's kind of our we had the one in between A New Hope and Empire. We had one between Empire and Return of the Jedi. And this is the first time in the Marvel line that we are taking our main characters in an ongoing series outside of the main timeline for Star Wars, because this is going to follow Luke, Leia, Han, Chewbacca, R2, C-3PO, all of them post Return of the Jedi. So this is going to be written by Alex Seguera, and the art is by Phil Noto. And this is still, we had the miniseries that came out, the Fall of Jakku miniseries. I believe this takes place after that. That was kind of setting the scene. That was like the year after Empire or Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of a primer for this next new era.
Exactly. Same writer as well. Alex Seguera wrote that. So this we're going to see Luke must defend the New Republic from a bloodthirsty gang of mercenaries. Han investigates a deadly underworld mystery, and Leia must grapple with a new alliance opposed to the goals of the New Republic. So it sounds like they each kind of have their own. Hey, we're out here. The Empire's gone. We're out here on our own now. We have to figure out what the New Republic looks like. It's up to us. So I think this is going to be super, super cool. I am very excited for our next Star Wars story. And really cool, Han's in it because between the last ones, Han was in Carbonite for the extent of that Star Wars run.
Oh, that's right.
Because between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Think about
so
that.
Yeah, this is kind of back to here's our core team.
Yeah.
So we've got some great covers for this. This is our A cover by your interior artist, Phil Noto. We have an Annie Wu Afra sneak preview variant, and we just learned from the Marvel solicitations that came out that Dr. Afra is getting a new ongoing series, which is really cool because this is also the first time we're going to see Afra really post movies. We know that she survived. What is her role in all this?
I thought I saw a cover of the Afra book where she meets Luke. She's gonna be with Luke or something. Yeah, that's gonna be neat.
So I'm very excited. This is uncharted waters for this. We also have a Chris Sprouse Force Awakens 10th anniversary variant. Very cool with Kylo. We have a David Nakayama variant, which I love that. I love Han's like white coat and stuff. They're all getting kind of new looks. Luke with his green lightsaber now. We have, this one's awesome. This is the Gabriel Del Otto variant with
That's great.
Jedi Knight Luke. We have a John Tyler Christopher action figure variant. I'm so excited about these because I'm not old enough where the previous action figure variants did a whole lot for me. They were definitely from like the 77, 78 line. But this is Power of the Force.
Yeah.
This is Luke with some major pecs.
Well, but I was going to say, he's not as swole, though, as the original figure.
He's got a little bit of it, but he's not the jacked Luke from the original Power of the Force. But I can't wait till, hopefully we'll get into some of these covers, but with characters that never appeared in this line. That's when it always gets really fun. But I may have to start picking these up, because now you're talking, this is my territory. We also have, this is the Ken Lashley foil variant.
That's going to look great.
It's going to be awesome. I believe this one is actually going to be $9.99 because it is the foil. And we have a logo variant.
So that's what the Star Wars logo looks like. I've never seen it.
But logo with stars.
Oh.
Very cool. And another Star Wars book, just to follow on the coattails of that. This is Hyperspace Stories Codebreaker #1. This is a new miniseries from Dark Horse. Of course, there was a previous Hyperspace Stories run that I worked on, but it's really cool to see it back now. And this one is going to be by Ethan Sachs, who is your writer of the Star Wars Bounty Hunters comic for a long time. The art is by Jose Mark Yarza. And in this one, Poe and BB-8 are sent to investigate a piece of First Order tech used to decode Resistance messages, but standing in their way is an infamous TIE fighter pilot. So this is going to be very much of almost like your like Rogue Squadron or something, very like X-Wing TIE fighter based. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm not sure how many issues it is, but it's not just a one-shot for this. I think it's at least like a 4 to 6, something like that, mini-series. So we've got our A cover here for that. We have our B cover. I'm not sure who did this one.
I love the black X-Wings.
It is really
trilogy.
cool.
They're great.
And then a Sean Gordon Murphy variant, which is incredible. If you've seen any of his Star Wars fan art he's done, why they don't just give him a Star Wars book right now. Him and Daniel Warren Johnson, please take over.
I'm not the biggest Star Wars comic reader, but I would read those for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So really, really cool. Don't forget to sign up for these 2 awesome Star Wars books.
All right, next up we have Fantastic Four Fanfare #1. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. This issue is written by Mark Waid with various artists. Now, on Wednesday, I was a little bit confused. Is this a one-shot with multiple stories? Is it multiple issues with 1 story each? But thanks to the brand new Marvel Previews catalog, which has the solicitation for one of the later issues, I do know now this is a 4-issue miniseries, and each issue is going to have, I believe, 3 different stories in them. So, it's going to be an anthology series. The solicitation does say each issue focuses on a different member of the team. I don't know how much that is going to hold true. There's one story in here by Mark Waid and Ramon Rosales or Ramon Rosales, that says it's about an escalating prank war between the Human Torch and the Thing, which that sounds really fun. There's a story with Alan Davis where the team ventures into hazards deep underground. So
Alan Davis drawing a classic Fantastic Four
Yep.
story.
And then there's another story by Andrew Wheeler and Sarah Pacelli, where the Mole Man interrupts Johnny's star-making turn on reality TV. So
that's a star-studded cast.
Absolutely. So 3 stories in this one, and the solicitation in this catalog, I think it was maybe the 3rd or the 4th issue. 3 other stories. So I think we're across the series. We're going to get like 12 short Fantastic Four stories, just anthology stories, just quick little one and done stories. This comes out on May 7th. So just a couple months before the Fantastic Four movie, kind of gets you ready for that. So this sounds like a lot of fun. So we have our A cover. We have a Mark Bagley variant. There is a Nick Bradshaw variant. There is a Nicoletta Baldari connecting variant. And there's a Sarah Pacelli foil variant also.
Very cool. Well, next up, we have Absolute Flash number 2. Number 1 just came out this week. And I just got a chance to read Absolute Flash. We both did number 2 today.
Yeah.
And so on Wednesday, I had, basically what the solicitations told us. Can Wally outrun the rogues? Wally's terrified of his found powers, but he will have to use them to escape the elite group his father sent after him. Now, after reading it, that is some of it, but there is, I would say, a lot of questions answered, at least about some of the weird stuff going on in issue number 1. I don't want to give too much away because it did just come out, but there's some scenes in the first issue that get expanded upon where you realize, oh, there was more to this than what we initially thought. There is a return of another very iconic Flash character, but I don't want to say anything more than that, but it was a great reveal in issue number 2. And the speed that Wally's experiencing, what it's capable of.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like just your typical running fast.
No, it's definitely, hopefully he can get it under control, or else it's going to be real bad for Wally in this. So we both really like number 1, but we said, hey, this is much different than our other Absolute books that we've gotten so far. It's way further away from what you traditionally think of with a Flash book. With issue number 2, this had the hype that maybe issue 1s of the original first 3 Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman Absolute books had.
Yeah.
It just took a little bit longer to get the full picture of what's to come.
Yeah, because like after we read Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman number 1, with each one of those, I was like, holy cow, that was awesome. When we read Absolute Flash number 1, I was like, all right, that was good, but I'm a little bit confused. Yeah. And I remember saying that on our Monday show, and somebody left a comment saying, well, if you think it's confusing, that doesn't speak well for the book. Let me just say that the feeling I had with those number 1s, I have with this book. So it just took an extra issue. But after reading this, I was like, holy cow, that's awesome. Cannot wait for the next one. So it just took a little bit longer to get there, just one extra issue to get there. But I mean, I loved issue number 1, but this one I love so much more.
And they go very seamlessly together. Almost 1 and 2 are kind of part 1 and 2 of the origin of this new Flash. You do see more of the rogues. You do see more of kind of Wally's mindset with these powers about like him processing them. You do see some more of we'll say that scientist that he was, kind of befriending in the first issue. All of that and more in this. And I'll say an X factor to this book that I'm not bringing up, I'm not saying anything about, that is kind of the crux of what's going on. Can't highly enough rate this book. I thought number 2 was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. If you were kind of iffy on number 1, give number 2 a chance for sure, because like I said, it really sort of brings it all together.
Yeah.
And it's very, very good.
So our highest recommendation for Absolute Flash Not that we didn't recommend it before, but this issue solidified
That's right.
our
Yeah.
recommendation. But now we've read this, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for issue number 2's The Martian Manhunter and
Yep.
Green Lantern,
Yep.
because I feel like, there's a lot. Even though we think like issue 1's, man, look at all this stuff. Issue number 2's continue to pile on that stuff, and now I'm like, oh, what haven't we seen yet? So of course you got your A cover right here. You have your Jorge Corona variant. Here's your Christian Ward variant.
Ouch, that looks painful.
Yeah, it looks sharp.
Yeah.
It looks like, we have our...
is that Clayton Crane?
Yes, this is our Clayton Crane. And there is a Jeff Spokes connecting cover.
A great issue of Absolute Flash. Like, I'm completely sold on it after this one. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man number 2. So we haven't gotten number 1 yet. That doesn't actually come out for another couple weeks at least. I don't remember if it's the 2nd or the 9th. But it's not until early April.
We've got the final issue of the current run right now.
Next week.
Next week.
Number 70 comes out next week. We'll talk about it on Monday. And then I think it is April 2nd that number 1 comes out.
That sounds right.
So we don't have number 1 yet, but number 2 is already on FOC. And in this one, it says that whatever powered up the Rhino in issue number 1, which again we haven't read, but we have seen preview pages of, like they're out there online, you can look at them. And we know that the story of number 1 is somebody is powering up Spider-Man's rogues, making them a little bit stronger, a little bit more savage. And whatever is powering up Rhino in that first issue has also powered up Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is going in and out of control of his senses, trying to figure out how to get full control of his body. And it says that the only people who can help him are Norman Osborn, who is free of the Green Goblin persona, and also Peter's long-lost childhood best friend, ? So I don't know if that's going to be a new character. Thinking back through the original comics from the 60s, I mean, like, none of them are long lost, back in the day when you had Liz Allen and Flash Thompson and Betty Brant. Like, so I don't know if they're going to...
have been like a little kid.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, his childhood best friend. I'm thinking it was maybe a friend from when he was young, like pre-high school, that maybe we've never seen before. So maybe new character, not quite sure yet, but that's probably what it's going to be.
He'll probably end up being a villain.
Or as another spider person. I hope not.
If you're in Peter's life, you're going to go one of two directions.
Maybe they're the all-new Venom.
Oh, wow. That would be a whole shocking twist we didn't see coming.
So this is our A cover. We have a Chris Russo connecting variant, just continuing.
This one? We got some Namor.
Yeah, so they're still in the S's, right? Submariner, Storm, Symbiote Spotty, Silver Surfer.
I didn't know they're alphabetical.
Yeah, that's what it's been, like... There was like the M's and the P's were together.
Yeah. Stiltman, you just see his legs.
Yeah, Star Fox. And, wait, we're still... Oh, the Stiltman,
The
Stiltman. So that's that one. Pablo Villalobos has a cover with Black Cat, and there's a Paulo Rivera cover too. I like that one.
Yeah, that one's really cool. I like the motion line, like the sound effects lines or whatever on his feet are also webs.
Yeah, I like the eyes.
Yeah,
he's kind of a little bit more muscular, which is how I've always liked my Spider-Man. The city, he's like on the wall. Yeah. That's a great one.
Well, next up we have our next installment of the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero Silent Missions. We still haven't got our first one of these yet. That will be hopefully within the next little bit, but I think these are weekly.
Yeah.
For the silent missions.
Because we talked about Jinx last week, and now we're talking about this one, so I do think they're weekly.
Yeah, and what one was right before that?
Beachhead.
Beachhead. Yeah. So, this is going to be really cool, though. I forgot how many total there are, like five?
Five, yeah.
But this one, of course, is taking on Spirit. This one is going to be by Leonardo Romero. And much like all the other ones, there's no dialogue in this. It's a silent mission a la G.I. Joe Real American Hero 21, or was it 31? 21. Yeah. With Snake Eyes. In this one, Spirit and Freedom, of course, his eagle, investigate disappearances in a nearby forest, only to discover a grotesque Cobra experiment, which I always love. I like the outlandish Cobra characters who are like part snake and all of that. So I'm really excited about this one because we haven't seen a whole lot. Like Spirit hasn't made his way into the Energon Universe version. So it'll be cool to get this one with him. We've got our A cover right here.
And again, just real quick too, these books are not part of the Energon universe. It's the A Real American Hero side of the G.I. Joe books. Yeah.
Yes. And then we also have a Fornes cover, which is really cool as well.
Next up is Moonshine Bigfoot. This is a new 4-issue miniseries from Image, written by Zach Howard and Mike Marlowe. And Zach Howard, Nelson Daniel, and Steve Ellis do the artwork. This is set in Buzzard County in 1981. Moonshine Bigfoot spends his days making a living outwitting clueless cops, reckless rivals, and buffoonish Bigfoot hunters. And everything is fine. His life is going great until he draws the attention of an Illuminati type cabal. And with his partner in life and crime, Amethyst, he's about to learn that some problems can't be handled just by jumping them in a souped up Mach 1, which you can see there. So this sounds very much like a fun, like, like romp, just like zany kind of a surfer dude, Bigfoot kind of thing going on. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And this is our only cover, too.
Well, next up, we have a new book from Mad Cave. This is going to be 5 issues. This is Buried Long, Long Ago. This is going to be by Anthony Cleveland, and Alex Cormack is on art. And this sounds really interesting, and it's kind of hard to sum up in a short fashion. But it's based on true events from 1901 to 1908, where we have our mother here, Belle Gunnis, who lured dozens of lonely men to her Indiana farm and savagely murdered them for their money.
Yikes.
Because Belle managed to avoid capture and face trial, much of her story remains untold until now. And that's where this kind of takes a little bit of a turn. This is a fairy tale retelling of her brutal crimes from the perspective of her 3 young children, who soon discover there is something far worse and far more evil than their mother on the farm, something buried long, long ago. And I guess this may be what drives her to do this, some evil force underground that's going to do this. So it kind of takes the true story about this woman, but throws a supernatural element in there, maybe to explain how someone could do this. So it sounds really cool. I like these kind of horror stories, especially period piece ones, being 1901. So really cool. And Mad Cave is doing some great books right now. Mm-hmm. We've got our A cover right here, and a Colleen Doran variant as well. Looks like she's got a creepy shadow.
She needs to turn a light on so that it's not there anymore.
It was 1901. She's only got that little lantern.
She needs a couple of them.
She needs more lanterns.
Yeah. Next up is Batman Superman World's Finest number 38. And this is part 1 of the 6-part crossover called We Are Yesterday. It's going to cross back and forth between World's Finest and Justice League Unlimited. Now, Indy and I got a chance to look at this one today as well, and this is really cool. So this whole, I'm not going to call it an event. It's just a 6-issue crossover that goes back and forth between these 2 books. But, World's Finest is in continuity. It just takes place in the not-too-distant past. Dick Grayson is still Robin, for example. It's a little bit more Silver Agey, whereas Justice League Unlimited is happening now. So it's going to be one story that we kind of get a look at what's happening in the past and then the effects that has on the current day stuff. So this issue is super, super cool. And this whole story is kind of centered around, or at least at the offset, it seems like it's centered around Gorilla Grodd. And in this issue, Gorilla Grodd, which apparently Superman and Batman have never met in the World's Finest world before, because it's set in early days. Flash knows about him, but they don't. So Gorilla Grodd captures Hal Jordan and declares war on the human race. Wow. And so, the Flash obviously knows about Gorilla Grodd and Gorilla City, and Superman's like, who the heck is this guy, Flash, and why didn't you tell us about this before? So like I said, it's very, very action-packed. Superman, Batman, and the Flash travel to Gorilla City to defeat Grodd, to rescue Hal Jordan, that kind of thing. So the whole issue reads like just a fun, action-packed, one-and-done story until the last page. And it's the last page that kind of has that connective tissue, kind of sets up the what's to come in this big 6-part crossover. If you didn't read that last page, you would just say, oh, that was a fun comic book, and that's it. So the last page has that set up, and again, it does revolve around Gorilla Grodd, because it seems that Gorilla Grodd has knowledge of the future, and how does that affect this book that's set in the past, right? And how does what he does maybe in the past affect what's going on now? So it's very, it's going to be like time jumping back and forth, which is really cool. There, the DC June solicitations were released online today. There are some really awesome covers
Yeah.
for the later parts of this crossover that involve, like, one of the covers has a hodgepodge of characters from all different books and all different time periods, like the 0 Year Batman,
Hook-handed Aquaman.
Hook-handed Aquaman, Batman Beyond. I want to say
There was the Flash that he's just wearing like a tank top,
and that was from Joshua Williamson's Flash Year One story. Like, it's beautiful. So I think this is going to be a really, really fun story. I talked to some folks who are only reading one of these, and they didn't want to have to, like, branch over and get the other book to get this whole story. But I think it's going to be cool. So if you're only getting one of these, I would recommend, maybe it's only going to be 3 issues of each book, to make a 6-part story. I would recommend branching out and getting those, because I think this is going to be really cool. And this might have ramifications for future DC stuff. Not 100% sure, but I can see how that goes there. So
we do know Mark Waid is working on that history of the DC universe.
That's right.
Which, it's cool. He's exploring multiple eras of the DC universe.
Yeah. So yeah, after reading this today, I'm even more excited for this than I was before. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be talking about the later parts when we get there. So this is our A cover. There is a Gavin Guidry variant. There is an Adrian Gutierrez variant, and that's your interior. Well, no, not on this issue. Clayton Henry does the art on this, but he's been doing the art on the last several issues. That's a connecting variant too, with some other previous issues. And there's a Brandt and Stein April Fool's variant also.
That one's fun.
Yeah.
Next up, I wanted to bring this one up. This is Youngblood Deluxe #1. So you may have seen this bouncing around from the dollar bins to the expensive comic rack and back.
I mean, the original Youngblood.
Yeah, the original one. This is the classic Rob Liefeld Youngblood. At its release, the biggest selling comic of all time. They are, since it's deluxe.
Wait, is it?
It was at the time.
Because X-Men, Jim Lee's X-Men was the biggest, and that was before this, and then Spider-Man, and then X-Force, I think. I don't remember where this measures up with those, though. I think maybe this is like number 4.
Oh, well, I thought at the time it was...
Maybe it was the biggest one of the books coming out at the time.
Yeah, it was also the first Image book to come out.
Yeah.
Was X-Men #1 not when Jim Lee came back to Marvel later?
Yeah, but that was pre-Image.
Okay.
Because he left to go to Wildcats.
Yeah. Anyways,
sidebar. Sorry about that.
If you want to know what we talk about outside of this,
right.
It's that. But this is really cool. So at first I thought, this is going to basically be almost like a deluxe facsimile type thing. But no, seeing upcoming solicitations, it looks like they're doing all of Youngblood as this deluxe format. This first issue is going to be recolored, relettered, and even rescripted.
That's the part I'm interested in.
Yeah, I that will make me want to get the regular edition of that one side by side and see what.
Do you have the original one?
Mm-hmm. You've got a couple different.
I still got my original from when I was a kid. Yeah.
Not from when I was a kid. From when I bought it out of a box a few years ago.
Whippersnapper. Yeah.
The story of Image Comics is also like the story of like how long I've been alive.
Right.
But 40 pages of story and art in this definitive version of Youngblood #1. I think it's maybe got some extra like pinups in the back or something like that as well. But I think this is really cool. We do know that at some point in the future, Youngblood is going to be back at Image with Rob Liefeld working on it. Not sure, that hasn't really been announced when that's going to take place, but this seems like a really good primer to that coming out, especially if they are gonna reprint this entire series, recolored and everything. So I think it's really cool. I love the original run of Image books. I think they all have such a, they're fun to look back on. Some of it's dated, all that, but they are very just action-packed.
Yeah.
And for the time, like, just revolutionary.
Yeah, back then, say what you will about it now, but back then, and I wish everybody could experience what it was like, because when Image started and when Youngblood #1 came out, there was nothing like it. Like, it was exciting. Like, people were excited about this, and everybody loved the book back then. Of course, rose-colored glasses and all that, but at the time, I was in it, and it was just so exciting to be like, wait a minute, this is a This is a really awesome looking superhero comic, but it's not Marvel or DC. That feels weird, but also really cool. We might be getting a whole new universe full
Yeah.
of these brand new characters, and everybody can get in on the ground floor. Like, it was a really exciting time back then.
Yeah, and this is only going to be $3.99, so that's super cool. There's going to be a regular version of this and a foil version.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to get the foil.
Yeah, just deluxeify the
Yeah,
deluxe
right.
comic.
Deluxe and Extreme. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it needs to. Why is it deluxe edition, not
Extreme
extreme
Edition.
edition? Next up, we've got big event check-in. Let's check in with what's going on with One World Under Doom.
Yeah, One World Under Doom number 3 of 9. So that's why we were saying on our live show, I believe on Wednesday, that this event is going to last the better part of this year. If number 3 comes out in April, and there's 6 more after that, so we're looking September, October for this to run through. So this sounds really cool because as we saw at the very end of One World Under Doom number 2, that came out this week, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's not just the heroes who dislike having Doom in charge, and we got a little bit of a tease of that at the end of number 2. Well, shoot. Then this solicitation says heroes and villains unite against Doom, intent on taking him down once and for all. Okay, that sounds like a pretty good thing, right? Well, meanwhile, while they're trying to do that, a simultaneous magic attack, which they actually talked about, I believe, in either number 1 or 2, reveals the shocking truth of how Doom took over the world, with terrifying implications for how others might or might not take it from him. And it says, however, Doom's mind is not the only one watching the Earth with envious eyes. So
It sounds like this story's about to get X times bigger.
yeah, so, Doom the rule of the world, right? But it seems like there's somebody else, somebody equally as powerful, and I do think we know who that is
I think
based
you're on
on.
the cover of something else coming up.
Yeah, and I think there's future solicitations that talk about it, but just in case you haven't seen it, I won't tell you. But it's very
Yeah.
cool. Who if I'm right, I might be wrong, but yeah. So there's some other powerful being just kind of waiting in the wings, seeing how this whole thing plays out. So the first couple of issues of this have been really, really good. We got a couple of tie-ins to talk about next week. So far, good job, Marvel. So far, this has been really fun.
Yeah, and it sounds like it is, it's expanding and growing
Uh-huh.
in a very organic
Yeah.
way and introducing new twists and turns,
Yeah.
which is how the best events go.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our A cover. We have a Christian Russo connecting variant, which those are the M's, I guess. Do we have any? Are they all
Man-Thing.
M's? Yeah, Man Thing, Marvel Girl, Mephisto. We've got Medusa, Mockingbird.
And we've seen Mr. Fantastic's leg and arm
Yeah.
on other books.
Maybe these are coming out a little bit out of order because we looked at one last week where his arm was already.
Maybe it was his back arm. When
Maybe
it was going back.
Oh, maybe it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Mole Man.
Makari from the Inhumans, right? Or not Eternals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Medusa.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
All right, so we have a Gabriel Delato variant, which holy cow, that looks great. There's a Godtail Doomasaur variant, and then there's an RB Silva variant, who is your interior artist.
Yeah, very cool. Next up, we got more Essential Comics. These are ones that we think everyone should be reading because they're just that cool. Starting with Zatanna number 3. This is only a 6-issue miniseries, which is so sad because it should be an ongoing.
It should
but
be.
let's all hold out hope that they may continue it. I've got a chance to read issue number 3. I don't want to give too much stuff away about it. Issue number 2 came out this week.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to give away what happened at the end of that, but Zatanna has found herself in another world, kind of like in issue 1,
like another astral plane.
An astral plane that in this one is kind of like a black and white movie. Now, what is this? What is all of this about? Where is she going? Who is behind it all? And what is up with who she ran into at the end of issue 2?
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I will say in issue 3, you learn maybe that's not the only person there. And what was this world? Who was this world created for? That's all I'll give it away. This is an action-packed issue. Once again, the art is phenomenal. We get an update with what's going on with Blue Devil. There is action, beautiful art, and heartbreaking moments that will leave you wanting more. So can't wait for everyone to check out issue number 3 of one of the best series coming out right now.
Yeah, we have a preview copy of this, and I haven't read it yet, so I'm like chomping at the bit. Like, let's hurry up and get this done so I can go read it because I love this book.
I kept checking to see like, is there may be a hint on this cover to what you might find inside, but that's kind of one of the best parts about it is how, you know, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So we've got our A cover right here. We also have a Sweeney Boo variant and a really nice Ji-Young Lee variant as well.
Next up is Challengers of the Unknown number 5. So this is the next to last issue of this series, and it has been phenomenal. So we know now that the Challengers are connected to Darkseid's death somehow. We don't know how, but there's some kind of connection there. And the rift between the Challengers and the Justice League is growing. But thanks to I think number 4 came out this week too, right? Thanks to that issue, we do know a little bit more about why Mr. Terrific is being a bit more standoffish with them. Starting to get some answers, right? So in this issue, it's up to Rocky Davis and Wonder Woman to get to the heart of this whole thing, like this whole mystery. But this is the interesting part. It says an old foe will rear its head once more, this time aboard the Watchtower, in an effort to use the Challengers as a means to a nefarious end. So maybe it's Ultivac that we did see in issue number.
It's just an Aquaman issue.
Was that 2 or 3?
Yeah,
I think it was 2.
I think it was 2.
And yeah, Ultivac, we never really. I think like it ran away or something. We don't know what happened to it. So maybe that's it. I was thinking, shoot, what if Darkseid comes back in this book? That would be crazy, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But this has been a phenomenal series. This is our A cover, and there's a Jorge Fornes variant too.
Next up, we have another one of our favorites, The New Gods, issue number 6. And as you can see, Enter the Justice League Unlimited. It's so crazy for this New God series to see, oh, there's like superheroes on the cover. Because this, other than like Mr. Miracle and Barda, kind of superhero adjacent. We haven't seen anything involving them. But in this one, Mr. Miracle and Barda race against time to keep the newest New God away from Orion. We saw some of that in the issue that came out this week. And as New Genesis is attacked, will the New Gods stand and fight or flee with all roads leading to Earth? But Earth has its own protectors there. So I kind of can't wait to see like the Justice being like, what's all these New Gods like crashing on Earth now?
What are you guys doing here?
Bringing all of their, maybe bringing the attack to Earth as well. This just continues to be a fantastic book, and this is issue 6. Or issue 5, so we're almost to the halfway mark in this 12-issue maxi series. We've got our A cover here. We have a Mike Del Mundo cover, which is really fun. And a Nicholas Scott cover with Light Ray.
I've been wanting to see more Light Ray, and he had a cool little moment in the current issue that came out this week. It was... we call it the trifecta: New Gods, The Question, and Challenge of the Unknown, and now Zatanna. I mean, like, come on, DC, you guys are killing it.
Your miniseries are fantastic.
And next up, we have Godzilla versus America. That's the series. This is Godzilla versus Los Angeles. We had the Godzilla versus Chicago a week or 2 ago, and each issue of this kind of series is just kind of a one and done, or no, it's an anthology. Each issue is an anthology. There's like 4 different stories in them, but the creators are all based in the city that Godzilla is attacking in the book. So this one's in LA. This one is written and drawn by Dave Baker, or at least one of the stories is. This has 4 different stories, again, by different LA-based creators. In one of the stories, a terrified film crew tries to trick Godzilla. There's another story where residents use a guide to LA's transit system to escape his attack, and a couple of other stories as well. So, the first story in the Chicago one was really fun. There's a couple other good ones too. So, yeah, that's just another.
And it's sold out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's sold out. So definitely get on these. Yeah. If you're a big Godzilla fan.
Yeah. So this is our Hardman variant, and there's a Gonzo variant.
I like this, the little Godzilla in the background, the little silhouette of Godzilla. Yeah. Next up, we have Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, Phase 3, Battle of Eriadu, one shot. So this is just another one of the Dark Horse High Republic books that Kind of works alongside a lot of the novels and that kind of stuff. This is by Alyssa Wong and Jake Bartok. And in this, we have our two characters here. And if you've read some of the novels, that kind of stuff, you are familiar with these two estranged friends who have found themselves on either side of this conflict, one with the Nile and one with the Jedi. And while this war on Eriadu is going on, can the old friendship be salvaged amidst this war? So yeah, just another fun one, another kind of companion piece to the High Republic adventures. And I believe we only have, yep, the one cover for that.
Next up is Penthouse Comics 2025 number 2. The first one hasn't come out yet, right?
No, I feel like it should be out already, but it is not yet.
Yeah. Well, in this one, writer J.D. Morvan continues his storytelling of a world long gone. There's a story about Rock Bailey, who is this hunk living in Los Angeles, and he has decided to keep his virginity until he hits 20, but he finds out that there is someone out there with malicious plans for him. But that someone, whoever they may be, they're going to find out that Rocky isn't the one to be messed with. And there is a continuing story from Penthouse Comics Year 1, Miss October, and Gun Crazy. And there, it says that they're both at places where new fans can pick up on the stories without missing a beat. And there's another brand new surprise ongoing story in this as well. So just like we talked about it before, has kind of heavy metal vibes, but more crime noir than sci-fi. Just a big old book of fun anthology stories. Some that continue into the next issue, some that don't. So yeah, we say it every time. Don't be thrown off by the name Penthouse Comics. These are like crime noir gritty like stories, right?
Yeah.
It's not what you might think from the name, and they're really good. From the ones we've read, they're really good. So this is our A cover. There is a Lee variant and a Maselli variant. Ooh.
Some very monstrous covers, and I think that's super cool. Okay, next up we have continuing stories. These are books that have either already started or about to start, and they're still going. Starting off with one that we got this week, DC X Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 2. Number 1 came out this week. We kind of saw how Darkseid is invading Sonic's world. The Justice League used a boom tube to get there. There's not a whole lot of other information, just the can Sonic and friends alongside the Justice League hold back Darkseid's forces? We'll have to see. And you see there on the cover what Darkseid is after, which is a very iconic thing in the Sonic universe. But I thought number 1 was really fun. It's a good like all ages. The art was really like a nice mix of traditional superhero and kind of the Sonic anime feel. So if you like number 1, don't forget to get number 2. And we've got our A cover here and an Edgecur variant as well. Feels very like the PC version of Sonic the Hedgehog that I played.
Next up is Assorted Crisis Events number 2. The first one, was that this week or last week?
It's a good question.
We read our books early, so I always get the weeks mixed up. But regardless, this is number 2. The first one was great, by the way. And this one, it's this is kind of like an anthology book where each issue is a completely separate story set in this same crazy world where space and time are basically collapsing on each other, but following different characters,
regular people,
regular people, and what this world is doing to them. So this one, I like the solicitation for this. It says a dizzying, heartbreaking, hallucinogenic trip through the endless slaughterhouse. Witness a man's life cut up, ground down, and packaged for easy consumption. It's another complete done-in-one tale of time and people breaking down. So just expect more craziness. The first one was great, and I expect more of the same in this issue, just with different characters in different situations. So this is our A cover, and there is a Trakanov variant also. That guy was in the first issue. I think that might be that character might be the only connective tissue throughout each issue. I'm not sure yet though.
Okay, next up we have G.I. Joe number 6. This is your Energon Universe G.I. Joe book, and this wraps up our first big story arc for G.I. Joe. As we see Duke come face to face with Cobra Commander. We got a hint of that in the previous issue, but now looks like they're going to be throwing down.
Which is hilarious. It never occurred to me that they haven't met yet.
Yeah.
So,
and it says, and an ending no one will see coming. And let me tell you, we know what that ending is, and yeah, you will not see it coming. I do feel like the ending of this through the free comic book day book is gonna radically change how you see the GI Joe book and the Energon universe. And yeah, I think this one might have a spoiler cover, but it's not. I don't think it's here.
Okay.
But just know, am I thinking of the right? It's this issue, right? Or is it 7?
I don't remember.
But yes, just know that big stuff is coming.
Especially, and we'll talk about it later, but the Energon Universe free comic book day book on May 3rd, that one's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Like, that one's going to set the course for the next little bit of Energon Universe. Like, things are only just getting started.
Yes. So we've got our A cover here. We have
I
our.
love that.
This is the Derek Chu variant, and a Lorenzo De Felici cover. And no, the spoiler is not that Cover Commander is just
Full of snakes.
Just full of snakes. He's doing the kids in a trench coat,
Yeah.
but it's snakes in a dictator suit.
Next up is Superman, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, number 3. This is the last issue of this 3-issue series that had a crazy release schedule, but it is on track now. And in this one, Lex is on death's door. There is a new threat that emerges to finally take down the Man of Steel. But will Superman be able to face that danger and also save Lex? Or will this be the world's greatest hero's biggest failure? Or wait, will this be Superman's biggest failure? We'll have to see, if he actually can save Lex or not. So yeah, don't if you got the second issue today after waiting a year and a half for it, don't miss the third issue that will come out on April 23rd. Issue 3 is done. It's coming. Like, no more weirdness. This is our A cover from Brian Hitch. There's a Chris Samney variant. I've been getting all these ones, and there's a Declan Shalvey variant, which that's really cool too.
And yeah, I believe when I was talking about the GI Joe, there is a spoiler cover, but it's an incentive.
Okay.
But we know what's on that cover, and yeah, people are going to be freaking out about that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Ultimate Black Panther number 15. This is really cool. I really like the last issue when you see, things are not going well in Wakanda, especially dealing with vibranium.
Yep.
Black Panther T'Challa has taken on this new low-tech suit that doesn't have any vibranium in it at all, because vibranium now is kind of a bad guy.
Corrupted a little bit?
Corrupted, yeah, is a good word. And it seems like there may be forces are going to be using that vibranium against Black Panther and Wakanda. So I'm excited about this. I love the look of his suit. It feels very kind of first appearance Black Panther with the gray gloves and the gray boots.
Yeah, I always like that with the lighter gloves, kind of gray with the lines on it.
Yeah, it kind of breaks up the complete black suit. And with the mouth open is also like one of those early Black Panther suits. So I really like the direction this book is going in now. It feels like, we're kind of into the big second story arc of it. And it's really interesting. So we've got our A cover right here. And we have our Rod Rice Ultimate Special variant.
Next up is Eddie Brock Carnage number 3. And in this one, Eddie and Carnage's hunt for serial killers leads them straight to Bushwhacker, which isn't that the Moon Knight villain, Bushwhacker? I think, I believe so. And it says it's time for Eddie to prove he's the biggest, baddest host a murderous symbiote could ask for. And Carnage is out for blood, and he doesn't care whose it is. And that's what I think is interesting about this series, is that Eddie Brock is trying to do good, but he is attached to this thing that only wants to kill, and he's trying to aim that urge to kill at bad guys. Like, it's a nice dynamic there. So we have our A cover. There is a Dan Parent variant and an Ivan Shavrin variant.
Yeah, he's also he's a Punisher villain as well, where he can like turn his skin into weapons.
Yeah, he was in issue 2. I think I'm thinking of somebody else for Moon Knight.
Yeah, you're thinking of the guy who killed Mark Spector.
That's right.
Initially, which is Bushmaker?
Bushman. I think it's just the
Bushman.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is the Punisher villain.
Yes.
That has like weird skin arm.
Yeah, cannons. Yeah. He was in issue number 2 that came out this week. Yeah. Makes much more sense.
Next up, we got Cover Gallery. These are just really cool covers we wanted to make sure you saw. We're going to start off with some always amazing Catwoman covers. We've got a Frank Cho cover. and a Inyuka Lee cover.
That's great.
Yeah, I like all the cool costume designs
Uh-huh.
he's been doing.
This is Detective Comics number 1096. This is the Bruno Redondo cover, and there's a Derek Chu variant also with that new villain. I don't remember her name though.
We also have Titans,
I love
issue
that.
number 22. This is the Tony Daniel cover. And we all thought Deathstroke was dead, but looks like he is back and being mean.
We haven't seen him since Dark Crisis, right? Is that the last time we saw it?
think
No, it was Shadow War. The Batman Shadow War.
That was before Dark Crisis.
Was it?
I think so.
Hmm.
But also, it's very cool because Tony Daniel was the artist on the Deathstroke series for a long time. The kind of like late New 52 Deathstroke.
Yeah.
He draws a great Deathstroke.
Next up is Wonder Woman number 20. This is the David Nakayama variant, and there's a Gilliam March variant. Number 19 comes out next week. It's the end of the long-running Sovereign story arc. This issue starts a new two-part story arc where Batman helps Wonder Woman solve a murder on Mount Olympus. So if you've been looking to maybe hop onto Wonder Woman and you haven't so far, number 20 would be a great place to do it because it's a brand new thing.
Next up, we have Magic number 4. This is the Rose Besh cover. And also, I thought this was a mini series. I think this is an ongoing.
Oh, okay.
Because the previews that just came out, I think, have issue like 7 or 8 in
Okay.
them, which is way past like what a mini series usually does. So, very interesting, but very nice cover.
This is New Champions number 4. This is the Pablo Villalobos variant. We have a Ryan Gonzalez variant also. And this one's cool because this is going to give us the origin of Gold Tiger, who is right there on the cover.
Next up, we have X-Men number 15. This is the Chris Giarrusso Marvel Universe variant. This is
the W's.
It's the Wonder Man.
Yeah, Wonder Man and the.
Oh, that looks like Abomination or something. We're getting the backside of there. So.
Yeah, because.
Well, that's
the Wrecker, right? From the.
That's
Wrecking Crew?
This is Wrecker Zabu.
Yeah.
That's weird because then the Yellow Jacket. So this is XYZ. And I think Abomination is on the A cover, so it loops back around.
Yeah. So when you display all of these, you have to like stand them up and like put them in a circle.
Put them around a big pillar.
There you go.
And then there's also this really cool Gerald Porrell Cyclops variant, which I don't think we've seen Cyclops wearing that yet.
Can we make that his new suit? That's awesome.
It's pretty
sick.
Is awesome. I like the armor that makes the X on his chest.
I mean, I like his current look, but holy cow, that's great.
Yeah, that almost feels like a Marvel versus Capcom suit or something. Next up, we have a bookshelf. These are really cool collections of things or graphic novels. Starting with...
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I'm behind on notes. All right. Batman Hush. This is the new printing of the Absolute Edition. This is going to be...
not Absolute Batman.
Right, it's not Absolute Batman. It's Batman Hush, the big hardcover Absolute Editions that come in a slipcase. It's going to be $100. Collects the entire 12-part story of the original Hush. And it's so cool because Hush, it was one of the first compact comics, so you can get it little bitty, or you can get the oversized hardcover, or you can get the big absolute size. There's also an omnibus, I thought. Maybe it's out of print. But yeah, Hush 2 is coming out next week. We're going to talk about it on Monday. And now we got a shiny new absolute Hush, Batman Hush.
For 100
smackers, yep.
Did you see the Death of Superman Absolute Edition? It comes in a coffin. The slipcase is a coffin.
Nice.
So, yeah, these are always so tempting. Yeah. Next up, we have DC Finest Superman, Kryptonite, Nevermore. And this is big. I mean, this is one of the most iconic Superman covers of all time by Neil Adams, him breaking the Kryptonite chains. This is the story arc written by Denny O'Neil, got Kurt Swan. And in this, it collects Action Comics 393 through 406 and Superman 233 through 238 and 240 through 246. This is the story where all the kryptonite on Earth gets turned to iron. So now Superman is truly invulnerable. There's nothing that can stop him. But can Superman be trusted and not given to his darker impulses? I mean, I think we all know Superman is the beacon and shining light of goodness. But what happens when someone has nothing that can stop them?
And this is also the story where, it has a weird ending. I won't spoil for you, but it just kind of puts into question, hey, the Superman that we got that we've had since this. Is that the real Superman?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it has kind of a weird ending.
It does have a very weird ending. It's kind of a fun thing to
Yeah.
speculate about. And this, like all of them, is going to be $39.99.
Next up is the DCeased Omnibus. Holy cow, I love DCeased. This is going to be $125 and collects all of DCeased, DCeased A Good Day to Die. I think that was maybe a one shot. DCeased Dead Planet, DCeased Hope at World's End, DCeased Unkillables, and DCeased War of the Undead Gods. So each one of those were separate miniseries, but they told one continuous story over the course of several years. They are so good. The only question is, I've got all of the individual hardcovers with the shiny spines. Do I get this and replace those with? I don't know.
I think you should get it and keep both.
Shelf space, man. But yeah, this is gonna be $125. If you've never read Deceased, this will be a great way to do it. It is such a cool story.
Next up, we have Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku trade paperback collected edition. This is how I feel like this should be read. As it was coming out, it was kind of hard to keep track of the storyline of everything going on, and it felt like, yeah, these issues should be back to back. So this collects all 12 issues, which was made up of 3 miniseries, but it was weird. They were numbered miniseries, but also in the corner it said like number something of 12.
So number 1 of the second miniseries also said part 5.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why not just make this one series? It was a weird release.
It was a weird release in a weird format, and that's again why I think this is more of a 12-issue thing to read all together. And this is a perfect primer for the new Star Wars ongoing series, because this is the story that takes place after Return of the Jedi, up until the Battle of Jakku, which was the final battle of the Empire. That was all of the Empire's like last holdouts, all met on Jakku and had their big final fight. So yeah, very cool in here. And this is going to be $34.99.
This is the Fantastic Four Solve Everything Marvel Premiere Collection. So if you don't know, the Marvel Premiere Collections are kind of sort of like Marvel's version of DC's compact comics. They are smaller than a regular trade paperback, like height-wise or smaller. I do think they're bigger than the compact comics,
Yeah,
though.
just by a little bit.
Just by a little bit. They're $15 instead of $10 of DC's. But just like the compact comics, they do collect really good storylines. And this one, the Solve Everything story, this collects Fantastic Four number 570 through 588. This was the start of Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run, which I get questions all the time where to start with Fantastic Four, and I always say Jonathan Hickman's run would be a good place to start.
It's the most like revolutionized Fantastic Four in the modern era. Like this is, where pretty much everything now takes its cues from this storyline about the Council of Reeds and leading up to death of Johnny Storm, the Future Foundation. This is it. This is like one of the best singular visions of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so if you are wanting to figure out where to start with a Fantastic Four, get this: $15. You get what did I say it was? You get like 18 issues of a really good Fantastic Four story. Hopefully they will continue that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a great jumping on point for Fantastic Four right here.
And this is really cool. This is the Madman Omnibus trade paperback volume 1. If you have never read Madman, this is Mike Allred, famed artist with Laura Allred, his wife and colorist. His original character that is equal parts superhero and pontificating like spatial thinker guy.
Isn't he also dead?
He is also dead, and he's really into yo-yoing.
Right.
Yeah, like equal times fighting villains and also just like sitting on a grassy place staring up at the stars and thinking about life with this fantastic art. I love Madman. I think it's really, really fun. It's very unique. And this collects 680 pages of content with Madman adventures from 1990 to 1996.
I am definitely going to get this because I've never read Madman, but I really wanted to during the crossover story, Donny Cates crossover,
Yeah.
when Madman popped up. He was really cool in that. I was like, I would love to read some more. But Madman's had sporadic releases over the course of the last however many
Yeah.
decades, and it's kind of hard to find sometimes. So yeah, 680 pages. There's gonna be $50.
Yeah.
Lots of good Madman stuff here. I'm for sure getting this one.
Yeah, this is really cool. If you've ever read like Ecstatics, which was Mike Allred's thing, it very much has that feel of very zany. Um, yeah, highly recommend it. This also has some extra stuff like pinups by even like I think like Frank Frazetta did a Madman piece and stuff. And this has the first, it says like Mike Allred's first foray into comics, which I forgot what that book is called, but it's another like zany book. So yeah, really, really cool. Very excited about this. The Madman-averse library.
And this is the Transformers Deluxe Hardcover Book 1, which means hopefully we will get future ones of these. This is going to be $49.99 and collects Transformers, the Energon Universe Transformers, 1 through 12, in a nice hardcover format. Holy cow, I've got the trades. Do I trade those in and get this instead? Do I just keep them all because I got the single issues too? But what a great hardcover this is going to be.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you want to mention there is a variant for it as well. You can get the Autobots or the Decepticons cover.
Now the Decepticons cover is direct market exclusive, so you can only get that at comic book stores like ours. The Optimus Prime one you can get anywhere books are sold.
Yeah, and it's cool to note that this is part of the Energon universe, and they are doing this for pretty much all the books. So Void Rivals is going to be getting some of these. I think one has Derek, one has Salila on it, and there is going to be a GI Joe with Duke on one and Cobra Commander on the other. So start getting these, and then start getting the other ones. You'll build a full library of these awesome Energon universe editions. And lastly, we have new printings. These are reprints, but pretty cool. Starting with Hyde Street, we have issue number 3 of Hyde Street getting a second printing, which was a very cool issue.
That's a cool cover, too.
Yeah. And then we also have issue number 4 getting a second print, which I also really, really like this issue.
And we have Batman number 615, the facsimile edition. This is part 7 or 8, I think, of Hush, the original Hush. Hush 2, again, comes out next week. We just talked about the Absolute edition, the new Absolute edition of Hush. They're still rolling out with these original facsimiles if you want them in individual issues. Lots of different ways to get Hush right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, which also just a fantastic cover.
Yes, and there's this one and also a foil version also.
Yeah. And we also want to mention there is a Mouse Guard Belly of the Beast 20th Anniversary Facsimile Edition. Mouse Guard, I mean, 20 years is amazing. If you've never read Mouse Guard, here's a little taste. This is the newest Mouse Guard that came out this week. This is the format of it. It's very square. By David Peterson originally. He writes this one, but this one, the artist by Javier Rodriguez. If you like books like Redwall, it's high fantasy, but with little mice fighting snakes and stuff. Very cool, very kind of like literary, and they're doing a facsimile of the first ever Mouse Guard story right here, and this is going to be only $4.99. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. It was a big show with a lot of really cool stuff. Stay tuned for our show for Monday, because next week is a very big week for comics. Can't wait to talk about all of those.
It's funny because the beginning of the year, it was kind of slow for a few weeks, and I remember us saying, "Don't worry, it'll get back to normal." We're in it now.
Yeah,
we're in the big. Every week is a big week. It's such a great time to be a comic book fan. There's so much cool stuff to pre-order, to read. Yeah, it's all so cool.
So cool. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can start placing your pre-orders. Your orders are due Sunday by 9 o'clock, so you don't miss out on any of these comics we talk about. They always sell out. There's always ones that people missed, and they're upset that they missed out on it. You don't have to be like that. You can pre-order them, whether you are local or from far away. You can order them, and
far away as long as it's in the United States.
Yeah, that can still be far. Yeah. But That way, you don't miss out on any of these. They will be ready for you when they come out. You're guaranteed to get your book. It's just that awesome.
Mhm.
It's just that easy. So, stay tuned for our show coming up on Monday. Like I said, we're going over some of the biggest books coming out next week and so many other cool things to come. Jason and Megan's show on Sunday, where
Yep.
they show you some of the cool stuff that we got in that's available on our website. If you want to see some older books, some fancy books, and that kind of stuff, stay tuned for that as well. And until next time, see
See
ya.
ya.